Good evening. This is the Village Council Reorganization meeting. The date is January 6th, 2025. The time is 7:32 p.m. Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided by a posting on the bulletin board in Village Hall, by mail to the Ridgewood News, the Record, and by submission to all persons entitled the same as provided by law of a schedule, including the date and time of this meeting. Roll call.
Deputy Mayor Perrin.
Here.
Councilmember Reynolds.
Here.
Councilmember Whites.
Here.
Councilmember Winograd is absent, and Mayor Vagianos.
Here. Will you all please join us in a salute to our flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And will you all please join us in a moment of silence at the loss of our 39th president, Jimmy Carter, who served this country both while he was president and before and after. Thank you all so much. And now I will call Reverend Dr. Arturo Lewis up to the well so that he may preside over this gathering with an invocation.
Good evening. Let us pray together. With gratitude in our hearts, thankfulness on our minds, we are privileged to come together this evening in this gathering space to give thanks for the many men and women who have served and those who are about to begin this new journey. For some of us, we have no more hair to lose and refuse to tailor our clothes. So we ask for as little stress as possible and all the peace that is needed to serve this community with integrity, with devotion, and with love for all of its residents and for the many who enter in and exit each day. It is an honor to serve, and we ask that you will empower those who are in positions of leadership to do their absolute best. We ask for your blessings upon them and their families. Keep them well and provide for them so that they may serve well. And for all the many who serve this community, those who are absent from this meeting, help them as they strive to help others. We give thanks. Amen.
Thank you so much, Reverend Lewis. And now we will go to public comment.
No.
I'm surprised he wasn't waiting up there.
Jim Reynolds, Ridgewood resident. Good evening, Council. I'd like to take this opportunity to mention my top 5 highlights of my wife Lorraine, her tour of duty on the Village Council. Number 5, I'll miss introducing myself as the husband of the Honorable Councilwoman Lorraine Reynolds. Number 4, any excuse to be in the 4th of July parade, I'm good with. Number 3, having one of Ridgewood's police officers ring our doorbell nearly every Friday night, delivering a council packet.
Thank you.
kind of kept our neighbors on their toes. At first, they wondered, are we okay? Number 2, teaching our 3 boys, who are now men, that public service is truly honorable and noble. And number 1, you know what it's going to be. Your stint on the council provided me with a public forum to wish you a happy anniversary every year, because renting out the movie theater marquee was getting a little too expensive. But seriously, your time on the council was clearly appreciated by many residents, and you should be proud. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. I will note for the record that there were no flowers tonight. Just saying.
Good evening, Ann Loving, Ridgewood resident. I'm a little confused why we're not facing you guys. Can I turn? Can I turn it or not?
You can turn it. Somebody turned it, and we were not expecting that.
There you go. Okay.
Thank you.
Councilwoman Lorraine Reynolds, you have my heartfelt gratitude for 4.5 years of stellar service on the Village Council. You have been honest and pleasant and diligent about finances and attentive to details, and you never stopped smiling. Even now, you're smiling. Even when there was good reason not to smile. Your laughter from the dais will echo through the courtroom for years to come. But long before you were an elected official, you were an activist and an advocate for all manner of important matters in Ridgewood. And in fact, that's how you and I became friends and wound up in court together once. Your service goes way back beyond your time on the council. Ridgewood is grateful for all that you have done. Enjoy your much-deserved free time now, but I do hope you'll reclaim your seat here on the other side of the dais with the unelected officials. Thank you.
Thank you, Ann. Anyone else? Nope. Seeing no one else, I will close public comment. And I now move that the council minutes of March 6th, March 13th, December 4th, and December 11th, 2024, having been reviewed by the council and now available in the village clerk's office, be approved as submitted.
Second.
Perrin,
Before I vote, I just wanted to note that with these minutes, we are fully up to date with our minutes, which is a big achievement considering the problems we had this year. This was no easy lift for the clerk's office, and so I just wanted to thank the clerk's office for all this work. I can't remember when we've been fully up to date in the past. So I vote yes.
Reynolds,
Yes.
Whites.
Yes.
Winograd is absent, and Vagianos.
Yes. And now we will all have a few remarks, some things to say about our colleague and friend, Lorraine. Evan, you want to kick it off?
I would, you know what, I would say I'd love to, but I'm actually really sad you're leaving. But I'm happy to lead off and say some nice things about my friend Lorraine. I do also want to thank Hungju. You know, I don't think I have another chance to speak tonight, but, you know, as I've said before, democracy doesn't work if good people don't show up, and Hungju showed up, and for that she deserves our thanks and our appreciation. I am not going to miss Jim, because Jim makes all the other husbands look terrible. So Jim, in all seriousness, it was every year I looked forward to your anniversary, maybe just as much as you did, because I knew you were going to do something cool, and I just like being a part of being able to watch that. But as I said, you know, while I'm really happy to be welcoming Frank in tonight, I am really sad, Lorraine, to see you go. You know, in the 2 years that I've been here, I've come to truly respect the work you've done and the contribution that you've made to the village as a whole. Now, 2 years ago, let's kind of say the thing out loud we're not supposed to say out loud, right? You were a little bit the odd person out. You could have stayed quiet. You could have retreated into the background. You could have maybe just become a little passive. You made very clear early on you had zero intentions of doing any of that. You doubled down. You came out swinging. You did what democracy requires you to do, and you did what the people who voted for you expected you to do. You were a voice of dissent at times. You were a voice of support at other times. But you always approached it without malice and simply advocated for what you thought was right. Now, from time to time, that meant that you and I were at odds. And I'll be honest with you, I didn't like that a lot, but I always respected it. And please know that as you leave here with my respect for the work you've done. Now, since we're talking about the thing out loud that we're not supposed to say out loud, I'm going to share my favorite Lorraine story. So, as many of you who come to the meetings maybe frequently know, the public part of the meeting where we actually vote, it can be a little pro forma at times, right? Like everything that goes onto the agenda, there's basically consensus that we're going to pass. Sometimes there's a little bit of drama. Usually there isn't because we've already talked about it in the work session. If you come to the pre-meetings, you'll see super boring. We just sit down and figure out who's going to move, who's going to second, just so that we're not talking over each other and the meeting kind of goes over without a hitch. Now, I will admit to occasionally during those meetings, while we're up here voting, maybe being distracted. Perhaps I've lost my attention every now and then. And what I will miss most is, for those of you who watch us quite frequently, you will notice, by the way, it's not just me, every now and then a very polite handshake or the forearm grab, occasionally a kick under the table, which is basically Lorraine's polite way of saying, "Dummy, you're up." Now, she doesn't say it that way, but I know she's thinking it, and she's right to think it. So I'm really going to miss that. I'm really going to miss you just keeping us on top of our agenda.
You're gonna have to do it for Paul now.
I know, I'm going to be the guy with the...
Gonna be busy.
But Lorraine, more importantly, I'm going to miss you. As you leave the dais, please know you have the respect, thanks to the entire village. You worked diligently in these past 4.5 years. You did a lot of good. I wish you nothing but the best as you leave tonight. I hope you're never a stranger to this courtroom, and I hope to see you again real soon.
Thank you.
Thanks, Zev. Pam?
Lorraine, I really appreciate your service here on the council. You were always well-prepared, and you've served faithfully, as Evan said, for 4.5 years, and they've been long years. And although you were often in the minority, you defended your positions staunchly and well. And speaking of being in the minority, I particularly appreciated your opposition to the public health threat and environmental scourge that is artificial turf. Your company on that issue meant a lot to me. Enjoy your free time. I will be thinking of you while you're relaxing in the country. I'm envious, and we will remember your service to our community. We're all thankful.
Thank you.
Lorraine, my colleague and friend, first of all, you have to really train Evan on the light touch of, letting
I
us know.
will not be as subtle as she is, right?
Well, yeah, well, just so you know, my right leg is black and blue from when she's kicked me so many times. And by the way, that was when you and I were not getting along as well as we are now, and yet you still couldn't let me look foolish up here, which is, by the way, a full-time job, as most people will tell you, but I really appreciated that. But you have always epitomized my mother-in-law's mantra of many hands make light work. I don't know if you remember when we first got to know one another. There was a parking garage that was going up, and you wanted the smaller garage, and I wanted the larger garage. And you worked very hard and effectively and fairly and got the support you needed for that smaller garage. Little did I realize that you and I would be serving on the village council many years later, which, by the way, is not something that everyone is willing to do, but you were willing to do it. And for a couple of years, you served in the majority, and then a couple of years, you served in the minority. And the truth is, really couldn't tell the difference by the way you conducted yourself. It didn't matter. You championed the need for safer sidewalks and streets through the Citizen Safety Advisory Board, which I still have trouble saying that, and the beautification of our village through Project Pride. I personally learned from you the value of sidewalks to pedestrian safety, and just recently we worked together to build a sidewalk on a route to school for elementary school students. And that was you and I leading the charge on that together. Our mutual support on that project was a sign of how far our relationship has come. And as Evan said, while we didn't always agree on everything along the way, I always admired the way you stuck to your guns. on every one of the issues we disagreed on, which there was more than one or two. I can't thank you enough for your service to our community, which this most recent election, where not that many people came out to run, shows there's not a lot of people who are willing to do this, to sacrifice with their family and their time. It was really, really important work that you did. Most importantly, my mother-in-law would be very proud of the work that you've done. So thank you so much. Really appreciate your being here.
Thank you.
Mayor, may we chime in down at this?
By all means.
I'll go first, Keith. I'll be brief. Lorraine, me and the village owe you a great thanks for your commitment, your insight, your candor, and your compassion. And I'll be brief, and one of the things I greatly appreciated about your time on this was the fact that you brought your family and your loved ones into the dais and made that a part of what we did and what we saw. And I think everybody always needs to know that everybody on the dais and people have their families, have their loved ones that they need to spend time with. They're not just up here acting robotically and thinking robotically. And you brought that personal aspect of it into the dais, into your job as a council member, and it's greatly appreciated. I want to thank you.
Thank you.
Council member. So when I arrived here in July of 2023, I wasn't sure how this was going to go. But Lorraine, you gave me the benefit of the doubt, and you allowed us to forge a professional relationship that I truly appreciate. We worked a lot on CSAC issues, pedestrian safety, sidewalk safety, and I think we've been able to accomplish a lot in this last year and a half. But I think what I'll walk away from tonight's meeting knowing the most about you is the personal relationship that we forged. When we recently moved, Lorraine called me up. She said, I have a garage full of boxes. And I think I made about 4 trips to her house and Jim's shop to take those boxes so that we could move from one house to another. And most recently, last month, I think most of the people on the dais know, my family had a health scare, and you checked in every day. And those are the things that I will remember. And thank you for your service to Ridgewood. I know the residents here appreciate it.
Thank you.
Let me just say a couple words. So, Lorraine, when we first met, you were actually the person bringing me petition upon petition upon petition about the garage, not once, but twice. And you know what? It was always done professionally. It was always done nicely. It was just, this is what you wanted, and this is what the people you were with wanted, and I understood that. When you got onto the council, I was very happy to become a friend of yours. And I just truly appreciate you being that voice for some people who didn't have a voice. And I appreciate that you, as others have said, stuck by your guns and continued to believe in what you believed in and let everyone know that you weren't going to back down. And so I know I'm going to miss you, and but I wish you the very best and enjoying relaxing on Wednesday nights.
Thank you. Now I get to say something?
It's all you.
All right, I wrote it out because I won't remember all of this. But first and foremost, I want to thank my husband, Jim, for his continued love and unwavering support during the last 4.5 years when I was on the village council. As somebody said, he spent many a night coming home to an empty house and fending for himself, looking in the refrigerator, what's for dinner, while I was at a council meeting or a committee meeting. He also watched almost every council meeting, as when I came home and he was asleep and the TV had the lines on it, I knew he had been watching the meeting, so he should get a special award for that, because I can't imagine watching every meeting. Council members need a really good support system behind them to be successful, and I'm very blessed to have the best. So, thank you, honey. All right. I want to thank all the residents who've had my back during my tenure on the Village Council. I really appreciate your support and confidence that you had in me. I tried to do my best, and hopefully I was successful. Thank you to all of my committees and all of the members. I truly enjoyed each and every one of them. I'm going to miss you. I feel that we accomplished a lot and we made a difference in each of those committees. I also want to have a big thank you to all the employees of the Village of Ridgewood. I really never realized how many employees there are. It's a lot. And Ridgewood, the residents are very blessed to have such a wonderful, hardworking community in every single department. Ridgewood truly is the best town to live in, no matter what your age, there's something for everyone. I want to thank all my current council colleagues. I'm sorry that Siobhan is not here. While we may have had our differences on things, as you have heard, I believe that we all came together in a very respectful manner. I also want to thank my previous council colleagues, Michael Seaton and Susan Knudsen and Bernadette Walsh, whose guidance in my first 2 years on the council was very much appreciated. Now I'm going to go to my Lorraine Reynolds stuff. So I'm going to bring something up totally out of respect. I don't want it to be contentious, but it's bothered me for the last few elections that there have been unintended consequences of moving the municipal elections from May to November. I happen to be the last council person, along with Pam, that was voted in when our municipal elections were in May. It was May of 2020. Back then, I was afraid that moving the municipal elections to November would make our nonpartisan elections partisan. And I hate to say that I feel that that is the case. And I think that it has prevented the average Ridgewood resident who's interested in becoming involved in our town council almost an impossible task. When I ran in 2020, I think my campaign cost something like $5,000 to $10,000. Now, granted, it was during COVID, and I decided not to do lawn signs because I felt it was, improper. I wanted all the lawn signs to say, "Thank you, first responders," not "Vote for Lorraine Reynolds." So I saved money on that. But all of my campaign contributions were from Ridgewood residents, nobody outside. Fast forward to this past November campaign, approximately $77,000 was raised by one candidate, and the lion's share of the contributions came from outside of Ridgewood. Came from all across the state of New Jersey, some political entities, other affiliations across the state and into New York. Then that candidate contributed money to the other two candidates running as a team. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's totally legit, totally legal, but I don't believe that would happen if we still had the council elections in May. So I just want to put it, in your mind, do we really want things to go forward this way? To have somebody, I have no idea what HJ spent, but, I believe she's, has money, but it's not, I believe it's not fair to the average Ridgewood resident who would like to run, who would like to be up here, speak their piece, make some changes, but they don't have $50,000 to run. I really think we need to think about this going forward. I know that the council could decide to move it back to May. I don't think this council would, but in the future, it is a possibility, and I just want to put it out there because I really think it's unfair. Also, if we moved it back, then we would be able to vote on the school budget. This past November, the Board of Education election, there were 3 slots available and 3 people running. So it was completely uncontested. Council, it was 3 spots available, 4 people running. So almost uncontested. And as you know, I've been involved in village politics for 20, 25 years, and I always remember 3 seats open, 6 candidates running. 2 seats open, 4 candidates running. It really upsets me that elections are becoming uncontested, and I do think it's a financial decision for many people who would like to be here. So, just a thought. As I step down from council, there's a few things that I would have liked to see finish, but the new council will be tasked in finishing it, and I have every hope and every belief that they will. In no particular order, number one, Kingsbridge Lane footbridge. The repair is underway. I'm very confident it will be completed in the spring to be used by all. It's been a long, long road, and I can't wait to see it completed. Number two, West Glen Avenue sidewalks. Plans are being made. Residents are being talked to. Hopefully agreements are being discussed for the residents that'll be impacted by the sidewalks on the southbound side. That's if an agreement with the DEP is not reached to continue sidewalks on the northbound side. I'm confident that one way or another, West Glen will have a continuous sidewalk from Monroe to Maple on one side. Please stand by. It's really important. We need that sidewalk. Number three, the town garage area. The building was supposed to be raised today, but due to the snowstorm south of us, it was postponed. I do hope that the incoming council will make this some sort of green space and not anything else. Certainly not a parking lot. I hope that we as a village are all coming to the realization that green spaces are so important to our physical as well as our mental well-being. So it would be such a great addition to the downtown to have a green space on Franklin Avenue, and I hope that comes to fruition. Last but not least, Shedler. We knew it was coming up. This has been going on for a very long time, but regardless of how long, it needs to be done right and not fast. The house is finally finished, and I hope that we will have a purpose for it soon. As far as the land and what to do with it, I urge this council to re-examine the facts and the science before resubmitting a plan to SHPO. Sometimes it's really hard to do the right thing and not the popular thing. Please do the right thing for our health, our environment, and all of our future. Remember that mature trees soak up a tremendous amount of rainwater. This helps prevent flooding. Most of us will be long gone before any replacement trees grow to the maturity of the trees that are present at Shedler. Please read the science on the turf, talk to the experts, make the right decision, not the easy decision. Talk to Pam. She's one of our experts. She knows her stuff. And lastly, Frank, congratulations once again, and I wish each and every one of you a successful term on the council and in the future. And I'm happy to sign off.
And Lorraine, as with most game shows, and this is definitely a game show, we have some lovely parting gifts for you.
Oh, thank you. Oh, beautiful. Oh, how nice. Oh, my goodness. Oh, thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Good luck. Show everybody, this is the train station. Isn't that beautiful?
I'm gonna put this in the bag for you.
Thank you. All right. Be good, or I'll be back.
Don't laugh, she's not kidding. Let's give her another round of applause. By the way, I don't know if you noticed, but for anybody who's attended other towns' council meetings, it's not always like this when a council member retires. This is really a sign of the way Lorraine conducted herself. And again, we didn't agree on a lot of stuff, but she was always terrific to work with. So I know I am personally grateful to have served with her. And with that, we have an empty chair, and we have to fill it. So, Heather, will you read the certificate of election of Francis Frank Mortimer, Jr.?
I'm moving up in the world.
I hereby certify that Francis Frank Mortimer Jr. was elected to the Village Council at the municipal election held on November 5th, 2024, for a 4-year term beginning on January 1st, 2025, and ending on December 31st, 2028. At this time, the oath of office will be administered to Frank Mortimer Jr. by Bergen County Executive James J. Tedesco III.
Frank, will you come join us in the well and bring your beautiful family?
Is the microphone on?
Wait, we have no microphone, gentlemen. Thank you. And there are 2, so you each get one. Let's do that again.
I don't know if my joke will work twice.
Yeah, it's okay. It wasn't funny the first time. Welcome to the council.
I state your name,
I, Francis Frank Mortimer Jr.,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and that I will faithfully,
and I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly
and justly
perform all the duties
perform all the duties
of the office of council member
as the office of council member
of the Village of Ridgewood
of the Village of Ridgewood
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my abilities.
Congratulations, Councilman.
Thank you, sir.
Frank, won't you please join us on the dais?
Just make sure you sign the oath. Thanks.
Absolutely. Let's get some pictures. And forgive me for not introducing the Honorable James J. Tedesco, who is our county executive who came here on one of his rare nights off to swear Frank in. Jim, thank you so much for being here. It meant so much to all of us.
Thank you, Mayor. I have certificates and a few other things, so when it's all done, I'll come up and present them.
Thank you so much. Frank, welcome.
Thank you. Hello, Ridgewood. It's wonderful to be here. Kind of wild as well. So, I just wanted to say first, thanks to my family. As you saw, there's a lot of them. But no, I liked what Lorraine said when she said council people need a lot of support, and I have that. Sorry to sound like a goofball, but my family is everything to me. And as I've campaigned over the past 6, 7, 8 months, 7 years, whatever it was, that I got to know more and more people in this great village of ours, and I consider this to be my extended family. And one of the things that I feel really empowered was by meeting all those people is we always talk about what a great town it is, but the more people you meet, you're like, holy cow, there's a lot of great people that live here. And I'm honored to be able to serve them for the next 4 years. It's really been a pleasure to hear what people want. And so often, like we're in school, you hear about the silent majority. And I feel that's really true in our village, because as I was out talking to people who aren't regularly here in front of the council, but just stay at home and want to live a good life, that to hear what they want is really invigorating to me. And it makes me proud to be able to serve all of you, and I pledge to do the best job that I can over the next 4 years. And finally, as the bee man, I do have to leave with a bee story, that because I started, I guess in politics or whatever you call this stuff we do, interest in the village is that by making Ridgewood the first bee city USA in the state. And to do that, I had to go around, I had to talk to all these different committees and groups, and that's when I first started meeting people. And then that led to me to being on the Parks and Rec Board with Nancy Bigos, and just, I've done that for 5.5 years, and you know, the Parks and Rec, of all the departments, interacts with our village members more than anything else. And so that was really empowering to be there and to hear how committed the Parks and Rec department is to this village. So with bees, worker bees, that depending on their age, they take on different jobs. And there's multiple jobs that they go through, everything from being nurse bees, which is taking care of the babies, to house bees, which is taking care of the hive, and one of the last jobs they do is to go out and forage, and that's when we see them. So it depends on their age why they have different jobs. So now that I've aged, I'm glad and excited for my new job. Thank you.
Welcome aboard, Frank. And now, Heather, will you read the certificate of election of Pam Perrin?
I hereby certify that Pamela R. Perrin was elected to the Village Council as a municipal election held on November 5th, 2024, for a 4-year term beginning on January 1st, 2025, and ending on December 31st, 2028. I now have the honor of swearing in our council member, Pamela R. Perrin. Use the other microphone? Or right there? Just repeat after me. There you go. I state your name.
I, Pamela Perrin,
Do solemnly affirm
do solemnly affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and that I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully,
impartially, and justly
impartially, and justly
perform all of the duties
perform all of the duties
of the office of council member
of the office of council member
of the Village of Ridgewood
of the Village of Ridgewood
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Just so you know, we're going to be doing this a couple of times tonight.
It is an honor to serve as a council person. Few people wake up and say, "Oh, I want to be a council person." In fact, most of them probably say, "Why would I ever want to do that?" No way, I'm not. Somebody else can do it. But what people do wake up thinking is, I want to help somebody else. I want to help my neighbors. I want to accomplish something good in my community. And that's when people like Frank join the Parks and Rec board, or volunteer to serve on the zoning board, or start planting for Project Pride. And that's how you get engaged in your community. And before you know it, you get sucked into spending hours and hours helping people, hearing people, getting ideas from them. And I urge all of you who are interested in what goes on in this village to volunteer on the committees. That's where you learn what goes on behind the curtain. That's where you meet the people who are working so hard, both employees in the village and other volunteers. I grew up in Ridgewood. I was born in Ridgewood. I thought I had all my friends. I thought I knew most people here. Boy, was I wrong. There are so many engaged people. And once you are sitting here on the dais, the listening is so important. Learning from other people. We don't have all the good ideas. The residents and the business owners are very creative. This is where the creativity comes in. This is what's exciting. So if you are interested in helping the people around you, get involved, as Frank has done. And I really look forward to serving with you, Frank.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, Pam. Let's give her a round of applause. And Heather, we got one more guy.
Certificate of election. I hereby certify that Paul Bagianos was elected to the Village Council at the municipal election held on November 5th, 2024, for a 4-year term beginning on January 1st, 2025, and ending on December 31st, 2028. At this time, we will have United States Congressman Josh Gottheimer come up to swear in Paul Bagianos as council member. Please use a microphone.
I, Paul Vagianos, do solemnly affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey, and that I will faithfully, impartially, and justly perform all of the duties of the office of council member of the Village of Ridgewood according to the best of my ability. Thank you so much.
Thanks. At this time, I will do the roll call of the new village council. Councilmember Mortimer.
Here.
Councilmember Perrin.
Here.
Councilmember Vagianos.
Here.
Councilmember White.
Here.
And Councilmember Winograd is absent. At this time, I would like to call for the nominations for the title of Mayor of the Village of Ridgewood.
I move the nomination of Councilmember Paul Vagianos as mayor of the Village of Ridgewood for a 2-year term commencing January 6th, 2025.
I second the motion.
Mortimer,
Yes.
Perrin,
Yes.
Vagianos,
Yes.
White,
Why mess up a good thing? Yes.
and Winograd is absent. Any other nominations? I need someone to move the nomination.
I move the nominations for mayor be closed.
I second the motion.
This is to close the nominations. Mortimer,
Yes.
Perrin,
Yes.
Vagianos,
Yes.
White.
Yes.
There will now be a roll call vote on the nomination of Paul Vagianos as mayor of the Village of Ridgewood for a 2-year term commencing January 6, 2025. Mortimer,
Yes.
Perrin,
Yes.
Vagianos,
Yes.
and White.
Yes.
Carried. At this time, we'll have United States Congressman Josh Gottheimer administer the oath of office to Mayor Paul Vagianos.
Yeah, we do this way. It's, it is what it is. Long time no see.
You look great.
You too. Thanks. Okay, let's take the oath here. Would you guys join us up here?
Family should come.
Yep.
You want to bring them? If you'd raise your right hand. I, Paul Vagianos,
I, Paul Vagianos,
do solemnly affirm
do solemnly affirm
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of the State of New Jersey,
of the State of New Jersey,
and that I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly
and justly
perform all of the duties
perform all of the duties
of the office of mayor
of the office of Mayor
of the Village of Ridgewood
of the Village of Ridgewood
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you so much.
Did you sign the oath, both of you?
Is it okay if I speak for 1 minute about it? Does this thing work over here? This far? Thanks. I just wanted to say a couple words. First of all, Happy New Year to everybody. Thank you so much for welcoming me. I love being in the village. It's always great. It's great to be here with the mayor and council. And congratulations to Lorraine. And Frank, congratulations as well. It's a big day for you, and Pam, and Evan, and Councilwoman Winograd. I know everybody who's going to make up this council and serve the village well, as they have forever in such a great community. I love this place. I do also want to recognize you saw the county executive, who does really an unbelievable job for Bergen County, the largest county in the state of New Jersey, 1 million people strong, and Jim Tedesco wakes up every day worrying about us. There was almost a big snowstorm today, Jim. He would normally be out on the street with a plow himself. But it was just a dusting, Jim. I'm sorry to let you down today. Senator Corrado is here, and Assemblyman Barlas is here, and Assemblyman DePhillips. It's great to see you as well. Thank you for your leadership in the community as well. Very grateful. And so I'm very honored to be here. You know, Ridgewood is a very, very special place. I think anybody who spends time here knows that. It's a place where many of us don't just hang out downtown, but have a lot of friends, and it's a wonderful place for the schools to do business, to raise a family, and it really is a very special community with hardworking people and really a hardworking council and leadership, and I want to congratulate them. And I really want to thank all of their family members for putting up with what they have to do every day and all the time and the hours, not just getting elected, but governing. So to all the family members here, round of applause to you. Now, what I love about Ridgewood is the history, right? As you know, Old Paramus Reformed Church was a hospital, the barracks for American troops, and headquarters for General Washington during the Revolutionary War. And so it has a long history of public service in the community. And the community stood up and elected a great council this year and a great mayor. And I know that the mayor will continue to do a phenomenal job. He's been an amazing friend to me and to the 5th District. For the last years, he has been committed to serving as mayor with a passion that drives him every day. I'm in this community a lot, working together, and whether the council or the town or anybody calls me, we try to work together immediately. Paul's been a resident here for 28 years, married for 41 years. That's impressive. Not a single fight in 41 years. That's what Paul said. They have 2 beautiful children, Casey and Alana, and 2 grandchildren. Beckett, who's going to be 5 years old on Wednesday, right? And Tatum, who is 1.5. Paul has served not just our community here in Ridgewood, but our entire great state. He's held too many honors to list them all, but I'll just tell you, he was trustee for the Fort Lee Board of Education, president of the Ridgewood Chamber of Commerce. That's actually when I first got to know him, and the owner of several businesses right here in Ridgewood, and ones that I went to a lot. As mayor, Paul has had a huge impact on the village, working very closely with the council, helping to keep taxes down while increasing the economic surplus, all for affordability and lower taxes. He invested back in our communities, resurfacing more than 32 miles of roads in just a year, upgrading our parks and sidewalks through the village, working closely with the council, adding Zoom access to village council meetings to ensure that everybody gets a chance to be heard. During the pandemic, he helped claw back nearly $5 million in grants for the local restaurants and stores to stay open, secured 500,000 meals for those facing food insecurity in Bergen County, working very closely with the county executive on that and with Commissioner Zur. In 2023, working with Paul, we helped claw back more than $3 million for Ridgewood Water, for new water treatment facilities, which I know continues to be a huge issue, to make sure we have clean drinking water in this community. We've got a lot back to invest, and it's really helped not just Ridgewood, but all the communities that use that water free of lead and PFAS forever chemicals. He's done a lot working with the council on dealing with all the overflow rivers and brooks and streams. We just worked together recently with the Army Corps to help address some of those issues. You've done a lot with veterans and recognizing the fallen with the Gold Star families with the new memorial, which is really beautiful, and I know many of us were at. It's issue after issue after issue. Paul has stood up, raised his hand, and said, "Send me, I'll do it, I'll handle it," and he just steps up. In fact, when the seat first opened up, I know you didn't want it and said, no thanks, no thanks. I really appreciate it. Many of us called you and said, come on, man, you got to run. And you said, finally, fine, I'll do it. And then look what you've done. You've done so much, and I'm so glad that you're going to be here for another round helping in the town and in the village, and with an unbelievable council by your side helping run this great village with great elected officials. So anyway, I just want to say thank you. Happy New Year to all of you. We live in the greatest country in the world. We're very blessed to live here. And don't ever forget that. These things are not, running a town is not about Democrat or Republican issues. It's just about fixing the roads and filling the potholes and getting things done for everybody, right? These are not partisan issues. These are just about good American issues. And we got to work together, and we got to do more of that. And I think Ridgewood is a place that is a great example of how we can come together. There's so much we can get done. So thank you. God bless you. Congratulations.
Thank you so much, Josh. I have to thank the public officials that are in the room, not just for being here tonight, but because they're always here for us. Congressman Josh Gottheimer has helped us, our village, in so many ways. For those of you who know that the Army Corps of Engineers is here to help with our flooding problems that are too big for our town to handle, Josh brought him in. County Executive Jim Tedesco, he is always a phone call away when we need him, and that money that we brought in for the food insecure community and to save our downtown, thank Jim Tedesco. And I will tell you, our legislative teammates, Senator Kristen Corrado, Assemblyman Krista Phillips, and Assemblyman Al Barlas, are always there for anything we need. We called them up recently and said, listen, we have a problem with our bus station. We need money. Can you get it back from Department of Transit? Here's a check for $100,000. By the way, for those of you anybody thinks that this is political, there is just about an equal number of Democrats and Republicans amongst those 5 people that I just talked about. Nobody cares whether you're a Democrat or Republican. As Josh said, we just want to get things done. We want to fix things. And this is a team sport. I will talk about the rest of this team in just a moment. But I want everybody to give these people a big round of applause, because you don't realize all that they do for every member of our community. Thank you all so much. I also want to take a moment, as Evan did, to thank Hunju Kwok for throwing her hat in the ring to run. This is, in case you didn't know, this is not an easy thing. It's not an easy thing to run. It is not an easy thing to serve. But let me tell you something. It is the most rewarding thing that I have done in a very long time. And I am so grateful and honored that she ran. And I will always be grateful that she ran. But I can't begin to tell you how honored I am to be sitting here tonight. First, that this community that I love with all my heart and soul looked at the work and achievements of this council and honored Pam and I by re-electing us this past November. It meant so much to us. But if that weren't enough, when the 4 people sitting on this dais, including Siobhan, who's not here tonight, asked me to serve as mayor again, it meant more to me than you can possibly know. They are among the hardest working, most self-sacrificing, dedicated to their community, most intelligent, ready to go the extra, forget mile, the extra 100 miles, people I have ever had the good fortune to work with, and I am so looking forward to working with them this next term. I can tell you from discussions I have had with colleagues who serve in other towns that a council like this is as rare as a community like ours. And then to be sworn in by the person who I believe should and will be serving as our next governor. And all of this with my family in the room that, what can I say? I love them. You know, we all have families. Let's just say it can't get any better than this for a guy like me. I will make you one promise, that I will continue to give it my all every single day that I will serve. Thank you all so much. Heather?
We now have to call for the nomination of deputy mayor.
Then at this time, I would like to call for the nominations for the title of Deputy Mayor of the Village of Ridgewood. And I will follow it up with that I move the nomination of Councilmember Pamela Perrin as Deputy Mayor of the Village of Ridgewood for a 2-year term commencing this evening, January 6th, 2025.
I second the motion.
Mortimer,
Yes.
Perrin,
Yes.
Whites,
Proudly, yes.
and Vagianos.
Yes. I now move the nominations for Deputy Mayor be closed.
I second the motion.
Mortimer,
Yes.
Perrin,
Yes.
Whites,
Yes.
and Vagianos.
Yes.
There will now be a roll call vote on the nomination of Pamela Perrin as Deputy Mayor of the Village of Ridgewood for a 2-year term commencing January 6, 2025. Mortimer,
Yes.
Perrin,
Yes.
Whites,
Yes.
and Vagianos.
Yes. I will now have the honor of swearing in my very good friend and colleague, Pam Perrin, as Deputy Mayor.
Yes.
Repeat after me. I, Pamela Perrin,
I, Pamela Perrin,
do solemnly affirm
do solemnly affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and that I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly
perform
all of the duties
of the
of the office of Deputy Mayor
of the Village of Ridgewood
of the Village of Ridgewood
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations. I think I've already said most of what I want to say about what an honor it is to serve the people of Ridgewood. So I'll just leave it at that.
Thanks, Pam. And now we will move on to the office of President Pro Tempore. so I will open the nominations for that office.
Hold it, I got to figure out where we are. Okay. I move the nomination of Councilmember Evan Whites as President pro tempore of the Village of Ridgewood for a 2-year term commencing January 6th, 2025.
I second the motion.
Mortimer,
Yes.
Perrin,
Yes.
Whites,
Yes.
Vagianos.
Yes.
I move the nominations for President pro tempore of the Village of Ridgewood be closed.
I second the motion.
Mortimer,
Yes.
Perrin,
Yes.
Whites,
Yes.
Vagianos.
Yes.
There will now be a roll call vote on the nomination of Evan Whites as President pro tempore of the Village Council for a 2-year term commencing January 6, 2025. Mortimer,
Yes.
Perrin,
Yes.
Whites,
Yes.
and Vagianos.
Yes. And now Pam will swear in Evan as President pro tempore. We're almost home, guys.
Is it working?
I think it is.
Good enough. Yeah. I do want to say, this is not Evan's first go-round. He ran before and didn't get the seat, but I said to him, you know, you got to run again. And I'm glad he did. Thank you for taking my advice.
That was bad. Thank you for reminding me of losing back in 2016. I appreciate that. I came in, and as we talked about tonight, 6 people ran, and I came in 6th. And it wasn't a close 6th either. But I appreciate the support, and I did much better 2 years ago.
Okay. I, Evan Whites,
I, Evan Whites,
do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and that I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly
and justly
perform all the duties
perform all the duties
of the office of President pro tempore
of the office of President pro tempore
of the Village of Ridgewood
of the Village of Ridgewood,
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my abilities. Thank you, Pam.
I can attest to the fact that I saw his wife here earlier. You want to say something? Good. You're good? Okay. Jim Tedesco, I know that you have some stuff to do here tonight, so come on up, and thank you so much for waiting. Good night to our legislative team. Thank you all for being here. We really
Thank you.
appreciate it, and we appreciate your support. Yeah, just for those of you who don't know, these 4 people are kind of a big deal. And they came and spent the whole night with us, and like I said, and they are working all the time. So, Jim, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Mayor, and it's an honor to be here today.
Could I just have you use the microphone, please?
Usually I don't need my
It's for the TV audience at home.
Thank you for having me here this evening. On behalf of the million people of Bergen County, I wanted to be here to recognize and congratulate the mayor, the deputy mayor, and the pro tempore on their obtaining those positions, but also the election of Frank and Paul and Pamela. And to say that this is what is so good about our democracy, and this is what makes Bergen County the place that it is. Towns like Ridgewood, towns all over, 70 of them, more than most counties in the United States. We're 1 million people, larger than 5 states in the nation and the District of Columbia. And yet, we're a combination of small and large communities. And this is what makes Bergen County the place where people want to come and want to raise a family, want to live here, want to do business here. Bergen County continues to thrive and grow. But it's only because of the success of the 70 communities. Each community, as they're successful, Bergen County becomes successful. And so it's my privilege to represent all 70 communities and the almost 1 million people that call Bergen County home. But I also need to thank all of the elected officials for doing the work in their local communities. I know what it's like to sit up there. I was a councilman. I was a mayor. I was a freeholder, and now the county executive. So I know what it takes. I know the commitment, and I know the time that they give up and they spend on doing the work that they do. I'm committed to making sure that Bergen County is a partner with the town of Ridgewood. It's been, will continue, and to all of you, I say thank you. Thank you for what you do every day to make this community, this village, this county, and this state the best that there is. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jim.
I have certificates for each one of the council members that were sworn in, and I also have challenge coin. The county executive has a challenge coin, and I will present that to each member of the each member that was elected, and also a pin that represents the county seal. And I asked them when they have the time to wear it as proudly as I wear mine. So thank you all, and have a wonderful evening and a great, happy New Year.
I'll save it for next time. Thank you, Jim.
A lot of stuff you got us. Thanks, pal.
My coin and the pin.
Jim, thank you so much. Okay, I promise, one last piece of business. It is our first piece of business as a new council. It will not take long. Heather.
The following resolutions, number 25-1 through 25-36, will be adopted by a consent agenda with one vote by the village council. They will be read by title only. Approve 2025 temporary budgets. Appoint village attorney. Appoint village bond attorney. Appoint village labor attorney. Appoint village auditor. Appoint professional planner. Appoint professional planning consultant for affordable housing and related matters. Appoint village prosecutor. Appoint public defender. Appoint alternate public defender. Award professional services contract special counsel. Tax exemption matters for properties owned by Valley Hospital in the Village of Ridgewood. Award professional services contract, risk management consultant. Award professional services contract, retainer for professional land surveyor services. Award professional services contract, social worker. Award contract, grant writer. Appoint joint insurance fund commissioner. Appoint public agency compliance officer. Appoint disability coordinator. Authorize Bergen County Police Chiefs Association Mutual Aid Plan and Rapid Deployment Force. Adopt form for notice of tort claims. Certify compliance with federal civil rights requirements. Appoint members to the planning board. Appoint members to the zoning board of adjustment. Appoint member to library board of trustees. Appoint members to citizen safety advisory committee. Appoint members to the open space committee. Appoint members to Central Business District Advisory Committee. Appoint members to Green Team Advisory Committee. Appoint members to Green Ridgewood. Appoint members to the Shade Tree Commission. Appoint members to the Parks, Recreation, and Conservation Board. Appoint member to Historic Preservation Commission. Appoint members to Pride Day Committee. Appoint members to Residential Flood Advisory Committee. Appoint members to Project Pride. And appoint village council members as liaisons to various boards and committees. May I have a motion?
I make a motion.
Second.
Second. Mortimer?
So since this is my first official vote, I'd like to say that it's great that it's to appoint so many people to positions in the village as well as in all the committees that serve our village and make it as wonderful it is. And with that, my first vote, I say yes.
Perrin?
Yes.
Whites?
Yes.
And Vagianos?
And I echo what Frank said. These are the people who, we probably appointed 70 or 80 people tonight to committees who help everyone run this town. They're volunteers, and they give up their time. And I urge everyone listening, if you are not volunteering, get off the bench and get in the game. And with that, a resounding yes. And with that, we will go to comments from the public. Seeing none, do you have one? Oh, well, I don't see him on my screen, but by all means, put him through. We have one on hybrid access. Rurik, if you could unmute. There you go.
Sorry about that. Anyway, congratulations to the five of you.
Please
I've lived
identify yourself.
Yeah, Rurik Halaby, village president for 55 years. And I can tell you that in the 55 years I've lived here, I've never felt as comfortable with the village council as I am right now. You are people of integrity. You are people who put Ridgewood first. You are smart and you're effective. And I really feel very, very thankful, and I think I can speak for Cynthia too. Thank you very much for serving.
Thank you, Rurik. Anyone else? Seeing no one, I'm going to close public comment and entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone
Aye.
opposed? Thank you.
Thank you all for being here tonight.